Hey everybody, my name is Don, and today I'm doing a bit of a different thing. I created a third-person example project in C++, and I want today to go over today how to make player inputs with the possibility to pass in variables or general information. I opened up the blueprint and I cleaned it up a little bit. Removed a lot of comments that were unnecessary, removed some inputs that we don't need. So let me just really quickly go in here and set up a few inputs. So in input here, in action mappings, we don't need those. Let's just create like 4 inputs and call it something like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And 4. And let's just also just call them 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now let's just go back here and create 4 player inputs. So player input component, bind action. In our case, we want to bind action 1 with IE underscore pressed. Every time we press 1, this should run. So we want to run this in this blueprint. And what we want to call is we want to make a function. Let's for example just make a simple function. We don't want any return values, so we make a void function. Void catch player input or something like this. And we want to pass in an int a. The issue is if we now try to, for example, call and ing, and then how did I call it? Catch player input. We can't just put this in. It doesn't work. Or we can't just do this. Does it work? No, we can't just do this. Yeah, we also couldn't do this because this requires a int input. So if we, for example, create a definition for this, and if we would remove the int a part from here, we should be able to use this input. Yeah. Now it has no issues. But the issue is if we, for example, do not want to make 20 different functions, but just one, and pretty much reuse the logic and just replace like a number or something that is passed in, then we can't do that. There's a way. So if we go back into our character here, our header, and we, for example, have here our void catch player input, and we would down here create a template for it. So template int a. Also let me put int a back up here. Template int a void catch player input. And then in brackets, we need to put our player input and then the name of the variable. So in our case, player catch player input. There we go. And we pass an a. Now we can create an implementation or just copy that int a part and paste it in here. Now we can just get this, and then in those brackets here we could, for example, say, oh, and that's the wrong thing. We can, for example, say we can pass in 1 as a value, and we now see we have no issues. So let's create all the let's create like 3 other ones. Let's call this 2, let's call this 3, let's call this 4, and let's pass in 2, 3, and 4. And down here, let's just do a simple UE log temp warning. I like the warning because it just gives a direct visualization. It stands out in more way. And then we just do percent. Was it percent I? I think it was percent I. And then we just print out A. So now after we just close this down, save everything, we can just rerun this and it should be working. Now that we are back in the engine, we can just click play, and if we press 1, 2, 3, we should see in our log that it prints the number without having to make like 20 different functions, and this just keeps code a bit cleaner. This is not the only thing we can pass in though. If we go back, we could switch this up. Instead of an integer, to use a Boolean. Let's switch this up to a bool. And yeah, it's fine. And back here, we pass in a bool instead of a int. So let's say we have a if statement which switches on A. Also with the before value, you could just say, also this won't work anymore. Let's just say true. And on the other one, let's just say false. We need that end bracket. There we go. True and false. And before, when we had the int, we can just also, we could have switched on the int value to get different results. So this shouldn't work anymore, so let's just remove those. And let's say on 1 we return true, on 2 we return false, on 3 we return true, and on 4 we return false. So if we now rerun this, we should be able to see this thing. After this, I want to show one last thing, is with just using enums, and then I'm gonna wrap up this tutorial. It was pretty much just to show people how something like this could be achieved. So back in the engine, we can just click play, open my output log, and see now I'm pressing 1, I'm pressing 2, I'm pressing 3, I'm pressing 4. Okay, so let's do one last thing and create a enumeration real quickly. So let's just make a under here, let's do a uenum, call it something, call it enum class test enum or something, and we want a integer. We don't need to, we just need a small integer. So et, then we can have 1, and we can give that a umeta value, umeta display name, and for example 1. Let's do a few of those, and then we can just in a second apply them in our template down there. Oh, there we go. Then here in our template, instead of a Boolean, we could use our test enum and also replace it here. That was everything. Yep. Now we can just copy this again, go over here, paste it, and then we could technically just take a switch statement, and we want to switch on A. There we go. Oops. Did I not change? Yeah, I did not change the names. Oops, that was my mistake. So 2, 3, and 4. And we can just do another UE log temp warning text input 1 input 2 input 3 input 4. So if we now restart the engine and test it out, we should see we can also print, do logic with enumerations. Oops, 57. Oh yeah, should also probably set this up. So let me just. That was my mistake. So we can just say ET1 and just copy paste it down there. So ET2, ET3, and ET4. So now let's launch it. And this should work with no issue now. So now we can just click play, and we should see our output input 1, input 2, input 3, input 4, and it works. But yeah, I hope you all learned something from this tutorial. If you have any questions after this tutorial, please let me know in the comments or in the Discord. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video and found it helpful in some way, or found an application for this. But with this said, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I wish to see you all next time. Goodbye.